Tags, PRINCE2 trigger map. The PRINCE2 trigger map is the process map created by the Transatlantic Consulting Group. This session has two primary purposes. When you go through it as a project manager with the project board, both get a clear picture on how the flow of information will work and how the critical success points can be placed in the project. The trigger map is very powerful and consists of 19 core questions. Let us now answer them individually. What do I need to do to start the project? This is where the project manager and the project board agree on what needs to be done at the start of the project and who needs to do what. It helps build a relationship between the project board and the project manager. How is the project manager going to give out work packages? It is important to explain the concept of work packages to the project board and the involvement they can have in this. Normally, project board does not get involved on this level. They just sign off a stage plan, but if they want to have more control over the project manager and the project, they could insist in being involved in this step. What is going to be delegated to the project manager? The project manager will manage the project on a day-to-day basis on behalf of the project board, within the constraint given to the project manager by the project board. So this bulb sees to it that it is clear to both what will be the responsibilities of the project manager after the startup part of the project. The result of the first two bulbs is the project initiation documentation and the stage plan for the first execution stage. How is the project manager going to manage the project on a day-to-day basis? This is the same as going through the previous session. The project manager has a stage plan and is responsible that the products mentioned in the stage plan are created within the constraints mentioned in the stage plan. That is his or her primary task. At the same time, he or she must create a controlled environment where people don't get surprised all the time. How is the team manager going to accept a work package and create a team to plan? A work package is like an assignment for the team manager. So, it is obvious that the team manager should have the option to accept it or not. At least, that is what the project manager might think. But, is this really so in the project context? This needs to be checked with the project board. A team manager would normally divide the work in a work package among one or more team members. So, it would be a good idea to have a team plan showing who is going to do what. The question here is, who might review the plan before it is executed? It can be the project manager or even the project board, but there can be more people. So this bulb helps define the communication lines between the team manager and the other members of the project management team. How are products created and quality reviewed? A good principle in PRINCE2 is that all products have to be quality reviewed before they are handed over to the customer. This bulb helps explain what kind of procedure the team manager should be using to create and review products. This also helps while putting the product descriptions and the work package together. How are the products delivered to the team manager? Products are signed off in the previous bulb, then they have to be assembled in the work package, that is the shopping bag. But if you leave the shopping bag in the open for too long, no one can then assure the quality of the signed products. In other words, where should products be stored before they are given back to the project manager as part of a work package? Although this is a responsibility of the team manager, it might be a good idea that the project manager or other project management team members have a look at this too. How does the project manager receive completed work packages? The question here is, what element should be a part of the work packages when it is returned to the project manager by the team manager? The quality review document, the export documents, and what are the requirements? They should be mentioned in the work package when given to the team manager in the first place. How does the project manager assess progress of work packages? This assessment is done by receiving time-driven progress reports from the team manager while the products are in development and when the completed work package is received back from the team manager. It is a good idea to have something like a spreadsheet to record the status of the products and work packages. This, in PRINCE2, is called a product status account. Before giving out the next work package, it is a good idea to check if any issues, risks, or feedback from the project board might have an impact on the content of the next work package. This will go to the bulb in the center. Now, we have a loop which we call the work package loop. Every team manager should have at least one work package, thus have at least one loop. If you have multiple team managers, you would have multiple loops. The bulb, how does the project manager assess progress of work packages, is like central station where the project manager can check the status of all outstanding work packages. The bulb in the center is used by the project manager to check the status of the entire stage. How is the project manager going to manage issues and risks? It is imminent that issues and risks will arise while running the project. So, it is a good idea to log these somewhere and examine them from time to time to decide on what to do with them. The project manager would have an issue register, an issue report, and a risk register to do this. How is the project manager informally going to communicate with the project board? There are two ways to communicate between the project board and project manager. Formally, using formal documents, and informally, which might not require any documents, but the informal talks can take place between the project board members and the project manager as per the predefined format by the project board. How is the project manager formally going to communicate with the project board? There are two situations where formal communication is required. One is when everything is within constraints, and one when escalation is required, which requires input from the project board. How is the project board going to manage the project manager? In other words, how much freedom is the project board going to give the project manager to manage the project on their behalf? If too much tolerance is shown, they wouldn't know what is going on anymore, and if too little, the project manager will feel like sitting on the project board's lap and unable to make decisions. There are several factors that play a role in this. These will be covered during the course. Feedback from the project board could lead to having to take a corrective action which might involve adapting work packages. This is the arrow going back to informal communication. How can the project board prematurely close the project? A good question to ask here is who in the project board can request a premature closure of the project. The answer should be only the owner can do that. And this person in PRINCE2 is the executive. How is the project manager going to prepare stage reports and plans? There are two inputs to this. The left input is when an issue is escalated to the project board. the project board might ask for more detailed information. In this case, an exception plan is created here. The right input will be when a stage ends in a normal way. In this case, a stage plan for the next stage and draft end stage report are created here. What information does the project manager need to analyze or update? Depending on it, as a normal stage end or a request to create an exception plan based on which the project manager will need to analyze and or update stage information. So, the question here is, what does the project board want the project manager to analyze and or update? How is the project manager going to deliver the stage reports and plans? Handing over the ready-made documents and getting them signed off might take some time. The project manager cannot continue with the next stage or change the current stage plan with the exception plan if it has not been signed off by the project board. So, it is important that the project board understands this. How is the project board going to sign off the next stage or exception? It is important to agree on the procedure to use and what to do if any project board member refuses or delays signing the documents. This could lead to serious delays in the project if it is not thought through in advance. This go, no-go decision point could lead to a premature closure of the project, or the sign-off of that project manager can continue with either the remaining part of the current stage in case of an exception plan, or start a new stage. How can the project board close the project in a normal way? The project manager would need to prepare a number of closure documents and hand these over to the project board. The project board would then close the project.